for you all tonight. So first, thank you all for being here. Thank you for everyone who's watching around the country at various Cinemark locations. I am Terry Schwartz, and I am so thrilled to be having some guests very shortly, but not right this second. The Gray Man is a brand new movie, as you know, from the Russo brothers that is going to be released in theaters first, starting tomorrow. So again, a sneak peek that you all got, and then in Netflix starting next week. So in just a second, they clearly sent me out just a second too early. We're going to have some very special guests filling this out here. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And in the meantime, I'll just sit here. Did anyone have a favorite scene or fight scene or anything in the movie you want to shout out? Just chat with me.
Yeah, the first one.
The first one, I mean, the first one's a great one. The drone shots, right? Like the camera work in that one is just amazing. The Prague Sequence. We're gonna talk about the Prague Sequence. I love that scene because not only do you have a crazy fight scene, but you also have a crazy fight scene where Ryan Gosling is chained to a bench. I heard the fountain too, right? The final fight. Such a good one. And oh yeah, and the play. Okay, we're gonna talk about all these. I'm so glad that you guys have seen it. But I think we're ready. I think we're ready for our guests, maybe. I'm seeing nods. Okay, all right. Great vamping, everyone. You're an excellent audience. But that's not who you're here to see tonight. Let's welcome the amazing cast of the movie. So first up, our lone wolf, Danush. Claire herself, Julia Butters. The villainous Danny Carmichael, Reggae Jean. Billy Bob Gordon. Danny Miranda herself, Ana de Armas. The man with the stash and all the plans, Lloyd Hansen, Chris. Of course, we couldn't have a Gray Man tonight without the Gray Man himself, Ryan Gosling. And the two gentlemen we have to thank for all being here tonight, Joe and Anthony Russo. I feel like you guys need like a drum roll or something to long walk out. Hey guys. Wonderful. We were having a little chat. We were talking about the movie. This is fun. We've all chatted a bit this week, but this is the first time we've had an audience that's seen the movie. So this is very exciting. They're all very hyped right now. And we were talking about our favorite action scenes. Yeah. Which is how we're gonna set up this Q&A. Joe and Anthony, let's start with you guys. The action in this movie is insane, to say the least. But the action is not just crazy action scenes, it's action as storytelling. So please talk to us all about how you developed this movie to ramp up from Bangkok through to the castle at the end and use these action set pieces to develop your characters.
Well,
no pressure, easy one.
was that Big Freedom?
You have any questions about pizza?
Yeah, let's start with you guys.
Questions.
What's your favorite pizza?
Yeah. Well, it's not.
Anyone else? Pepperoni?
Pepperoni.
Hold on, it's the mic. All the people around the country so they can hear.
We only hire people who eat pepperoni pizza. That's it. Everybody likes pepperoni.
I'm vegetarian, so. But well, there's many ways we can approach this question. Like one example I will run to is just like this idea. You remember the scene in the square in Prague where Ryan is chained to the bench. So the
Ryan's like, what's here?
I mean, a lot of the times we think about like, well, how do you explore character? How do you make a character vulnerable? How do you put a character in the most challenging situation possible? And there was that scene was, I remember when we were developing the character, thinking about it. That scene was really pivotal in the idea that the Gray Man. Here's a character who lives in the gray, who hides in the shadows, who knows how to disappear, knows how to not be seen, knows how to get in and get out and make it quick and clean. And here's a moment where that character is chained to a bench in the middle of a busy city square with the police looking at him, tourists looking at him, and a gang of assassins converging on him. So it's sort of this moment where it's the opposite of what the gray man how the gray man wants to function. And then, that's sort of like, I think that's a good example of like how we sort of build things around character.
I really feel like I should have started with more food-related icebreaker questions now. Like, I have questions about this movie, but now I want to ask what everyone's like favorite color Skittle to eat.
Ice cream?
Something. Yeah, ice cream, whatever we want. But we'll come back to these. We'll come back to these. I did want to ask, so again, everyone's just saw the movie and are all riding high from it. I wanted to ask everyone in the cast what your favorite action scene to film was, because you all got such a dope, badass scene. So, Ryan, you're closest to me, so I was going to put you on the spot, and then we can run down the line. Do you have a favorite movie action scene in the movie? We were shouting out ours beforehand.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but the hospital scene, because it almost put Danush and Anna and I in the hospital. But you know, we're very lucky to have Danush in this movie, and it was an honor to work with him, and that was my only scene that we got to do together. So I'll pick that one because that was my shot.
Great one. How about you, Chris?
Well, I'll say my final fight scene with Ryan. To be honest, most of the movie I don't have that many action sequences, and if I do, they're brief. So the one with Ryan and I in the fountain, it was long, it was demanding, and I've never fought in the fountain before, so it was nice to add that to the resume.
How about you, Anna?
I was gonna say the hospital scene too, but I also have another scene with Danush, which is at the end of the movie, and I love that scene because these two characters are really going for it. Like one of them is not gonna make it out, and that intensity and like that, life or death, thing was really cool. I also have 4 ribs out of place then, and it took us like a week to shoot that, and it was very challenging, but it looks really strong. I loved it.
Now I know for the rest of our cast we have like badass scenes, right? Do you have a favorite badass scene for Fitz, Billy? I mean, there's a certain nail care scene that I know you.
Well, yeah, I was going to say probably the manicure.
That's what I would have said. I didn't know if it qualified as action.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I consider that action.
I hated it.
Yeah, it was not fun since I am a method actor, and I told Chris to just go ahead and pull them out.
They look great now. Excellent regrowing. Excellent cuticle hair. Jessica, did you have a favorite badass scene for Suzanne?
I mean, does it count as an action scene when I'm dodging his coffee cup? Because he threw a lot of coffee at me and I did get some on my face.
Between takes.
Like, right, you got anything to say about that?
Similarly, most people don't realize I do actually throw 2 punches in this film, both of which are in the bathroom after I forced Suzanne to listen to me shit. And so kind of as power plays go, I think that's one of the more powerful ones in the movie, and I'm gonna flag that one.
I think you and I have the biggest action scenes in the movie, honestly.
Agreed. Julia, did you have a favorite badass scene for Claire?
I love the flare gun, the Claire gun, if you will, but I love the manicure scene. Chris is very talented. I want my nails done next, but not in the same way. I'd like to keep mine. I really enjoyed, I mean, this sounds awful, but I really enjoyed the one where, the separation between Claire and Fitz. And the separation between Claire, I'm just listing all my scenes.
Every scene was bad.
Every scene, aw, thanks. But
Yeah, I really enjoyed the emotional stuff because I learned a lot from it, and I learned that I can channel such an emotional part of myself that for so long, I mean, filming the fountain sequence was, I'm going to list that one as my #1 favorite, because we filmed that for, how long? Oh, like a week?
A week.
A week straight, and all of it was being soaking wet, crying the whole time for me, the entire time. Not a moment of breath for Claire, and that literally, physically. But I really enjoyed that one because it was a challenge, and I got to spend it with Ryan and Chris, and I thought that was great.
All right, Denise, you have the honor of both of your dope fight scenes already have been mentioned by your co-stars. Now you have to pick your favorite. Which one did you like best?
Good evening, everybody. Honestly, I can't pick. I really can't pick. I mean, two of them, and both were really tough, good ones, very tough. But my favorite stunt sequence is the whole Prague chase sequence. It was breathtaking. I forgot to breathe when I was watching. I was like, whoa. It was amazing. I'm like, how do they do it? How do they make this? You know, it's fantastic. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ryan for his kindness towards me throughout filming this the stunt sequence. Ryan was very kind to me, very welcoming. He would often come up to me and inquire about me, my family, and up until now, he's been very, very kind. I'm coming from a different, world, and coming here all the way. It's important to feel welcomed, and. And my sons love him too now.
I love you, Chris.
Yeah, so, well, oh, thank you. Indians must be. Yeah, I mean, kindness goes a long way, and it's amazing. Thank you, Ryan, for that, and thanks, Anna, for all your cooperation and for being patient and everything. Thank you so much, and of course, I would like to thank the Russos for casting me and believing in me.
I love you too, Kevin.
I don't even know that was me. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys though, I mean, hearing a recap of all the amazing fight scenes in the movie, was there one in particular that was the most challenging to choreograph?
Well, certainly the Prague sequence. That was a very difficult sequence to shoot. We prepped it for about a year. We shot it for 6 weeks. We're iterative when we're doing action, meaning we will shoot 2 or 3 days worth of action. We'll go to the edit room. We'll watch how it's cut together. We'll come up with some new ideas. We might ask these guys to train for 2 months, learning choreography, and then come up with a different idea on set and throw out the 2 months choreography. So it's,
Chris is dying right now. What are you referring to?
It's not easy working with us in that regard, and they were all very gracious and worked incredibly hard. No one ever complained. But Prague, top to bottom, I think you could attest to that was a really tough one. And we ended it. We ended the movie shooting the sequence where Ryan is running down the trains, and we actually put Ryan on trains with hydraulics. So as he leapt from one car to the next, the previous car would collapse sideways, and he was, 15 feet in the air. But we made sure that we saved that for the very last day in case something went wrong.
So we're glad, relieved to find that out now. I wanted to talk about the Prague sequence though with you, Ryan, because choreographing a fight scene already challenging, but you have the added element of you're chained to a bench the entire time. So can you talk about kind of what went into, obviously there's a lot more to the sequence than that, but I was curious about kind of the choreography and prep that went into shooting that element.
Well, I'm probably the least interesting guy to ask that to because I was chained to a bench the whole time.
I love you, Chris.
But I do remember a funny moment where things were exploding and it was crazy, and my cell phone started to ring, and I, with my free hand, kind of fished it out behind the bench, and it was, my kids were in a hotel nearby, and it was Ava asking how long the explosions were going to go on, because the girls had a Zoom on, a piano class Zoom.
She's like, honey, can you
Yeah.
get the shot already?
Yeah. Just the girls got a Zoom and it's really loud. And I also remember that the Russos built a town square, not just they weren't out there physically building it, but you know, well, the larger lesson for me was just how many people it takes to make a film like this, how many, you know, it takes a village to make, you know, The Gray Man. Just so many people, so much, it feels like what it must go into, like the Super Bowl before the players ever step on the field. Just an incredible amount of work. But one thing that kind of blew my mind is that they built a town square within a town square, so that no town squares were harmed in the filming of this
It's very careful. You guys learned from Cleveland as we were talking.
We did. It's tough when you go into a town where you're doing work like that and it's going to be loud and